The PJ Masks are repainting the plane and getting ready to leave for a vacation. They were happy and were boarding the plane, which was full of innovative superhero technology. The plane takes off and flies into the sky. The PJ Masks were happy to see the sunset from the airplane window. It was so romantic. However, during the night, the plane entered a magical storm full of lightning, and from within the magical storm, a dark plane emerged. It was a huge plane belonging to a supervillain who wanted to capture the PJ Masks. It was Romeo flying the plane. The PJ Masks try to escape from that plane, but it starts releasing a lot of flying robots into the air that attack the PJ Masks' plane. But the PJ Masks use magic and manage to destroy all the flying robots. Then the green PJ Mask takes control of the plane and, performing stunts, frees the PJ Masks' plane from the dark plane. However, an evil robot survived and destroyed one of the engines of the PJ Masks' plane. The plane starts to fall and the robot explodes with a magical explosion. The PJ Masks try to save the falling plane, but it keeps falling. Then Amaya closes her eyes and uses her magic to save the plane's engine and succeeds. The PJ Masks manage to save the plane and are happy to have saved themselves. However, their happiness didn't last long because a dark magic portal opened in front of them and they entered it. The airplane started going very fast inside the magic portal that made a lot of epic lights. Inside the PJ Masks' airplane, a portal opened from which a lot of Romeo's robots came out and tried to capture all the characters of the PJ Masks, but they didn't succeed because the PJ Masks managed to defeat them with magic, even though one of these robots managed to throw the blue PJ Mask into a magic portal. A portal opens on Earth and the PJ Masks' plane comes out of this portal very fast. But then it slows down more and more and ends up in a brown slime lake and gets dirty. The PJ Masks inside the plane check what happened and discover that the magic fuel is finished and they want to recharge the plane to leave again, but they wonder where their blue friend has gone. The blue PJ Mask came out of a portal in the air and used his glider to land happily and safely in the city. He picks up the phone and calls his friends, but they don't answer because the other two PJ Masks were fighting against super evil robots in the forest with magic, and they managed to defeat them. We need to help the PJ Masks find each other and recharge their plane to leave this place, and we'll help them with the drone. Look, we are searching for the PJ Masks. So look, here is Amaya's costume! Look, it's on the ground! Why did she lose it? I think she stopped us using it. I don't know why she lost it, but here it is. I think there are other PJ Masks in this area, so let's move on. Look, up ahead there's a strange flash. She must have run in this area, that's why there's this strange flash. Let's follow him. I think he will lead us to the person who issued it while running. There she is. It's really her. It's Amaya. I found her. Look. She's running down the street. But what is Amaya looking for? Maybe she's also looking for the magic fuel to recharge the airplane. Look, Amaya has completely disappeared. I can't see her anymore, but she dropped her phone and it's ringing. The blue PJ Mask is calling her. Let's answer him and see what he has to say to us. The blue PJ Mask managed to contact his friends. They told him that they need the magic fuel to refuel the plane to escape. The blue PJ Mask said he will take care of the fuel. The colorful PJ Masks returned to the plane and discovered that their plane was being raided by robots that are stealing all the parts of the PJ Masks' plane. And then they all went there and fought all the robots with magic to defend their plane. The blue PJ Mask, on the other hand, started investigating where to find the magic fuel for the plane and began walking through the city, but he was also intercepted by a giant mega robot. The blue PJ Mask fought hard and defeated the giant mega robot with magic, causing an energy explosion so vast that it caused a blackout of all systems in the city, shutting down all the robots that were attacking the PJ Mask's plane. Romeo was furious and started rebooting his robots to continue his evil plan, but the colorful PJ Masks had already cleared the plane by destroying all of Romeo's robots. The blue PJ Mask, on the other hand, was following a robot because he wanted to find Romeo's secret base. Look, we are following the blue PJ Mask as he follows the robot with the drone. They are venturing into this strange forest. I think Romeo's base must be here. Look, the robot is entering an underground hatch and the blue PJ Mask is spying on it. I think this is the main entrance to Romeo's secret base. Look, the blue PJ Mask is going towards the hatch, but another robot has arrived and is looking at the blue PJ Mask menacingly. I think they're about to fight with magic. Look, the blue PJ Mask is fighting with magic against this robot. I can't believe it. We captured it with the drone. Look at how they're fiercely battling with magic. The blue PJ Mask managed to knock out the robot thanks to magic. And now the blue PJ Mask is opening the trapdoor to enter it. Watch him, now he's moving it and wants to get inside. Look, the blue PJ Mask is entering Romeo's secret base. Let's take a look inside Romeo's base and see what's happening. The blue PJ Mask entered Romeo's secret base. He started investigating and discovered that Romeo is working on an evil plan to build a mega robot to conquer the city, and that he was building a gigantic plane made of dark energy that could carry these robots anywhere to conquer the world. The blue PJ Mask takes some pictures and sends them to his friends, who look surprised when they see them. The blue PJ Mask finds the magic fuel inside these robots and steals it to use in the PJ Mask's plane. Then he starts destroying all the prototypes inside the base to prevent Romeo from taking over the world, but then an alarm goes off. The blue PJ Mask tries to escape but gets trapped in Romeo's base because the doors close. Then, using magic, he manages to break through one of these doors by melting it and escapes, chased by a bunch of Romeo's robots. The blue PJ Mask manages to defeat these robots with magic and escape from Romeo's base before he finds out. Now he wants to find his friends, and we need to help him. Look, my drone intercepted the blue PJ Mask running down the street. He's running very fast, but look, he's so fast that the drone can't keep up with him. In fact, he completely lost track of the blue PJ Mask. It was very fast. Where do we have to go now? Listen, there are other people running in this area. They are the green PJ Mask and the pink PJ Mask. We managed to find them and the drone intercepted them. Let's follow them. Maybe they will help us understand where the blue PJ Mask went. Look, they've engaged in a battle with many robots. The robots found them and started fighting them. They're engaging in a fight using magic, and they're all very strong. These robots use magic in a really smart way. They are knocking out all the robots. But the robots manage to surround them because there are too many, and they are capturing both PJ Masks, the green one and the pink one, for things. Like the video if you want me to free them. Look, the PJ Masks are completely trapped inside the magic cage. Let's follow the robots. They're leaving. I think they're going to a place that we're very interested in. Look at them. In fact, look. We've found the destroyed PJ Mask's plane, and the plane is being destroyed by these robots because they want to steal all the components to make their giant robot. Look. Maybe they're going to Romeo's new base. The wings of the PJ Mask's plane have been completely destroyed by Romeo's robots, who have stolen them and are taking them to a new secret base of Romeo to allow Romeo to complete his latest creation for world domination. Meanwhile, the blue PJ Mask arrives near the magical prison that held the other PJ Masks and finds a robot waiting for him. The blue PJ Mask fights against this robot with magic. The battle was really intense. Both of them used all their power during the fight. The pink PJ Mask tries to use her special power to confuse the robot, and she succeeds. The blue PJ Mask takes advantage of the situation to defeat the robot by making it explode and steals the key to open the magic cage and free his friends. The PJ Masks hug each other and are happy to be together again. They head to Romeo's secret base to defeat him and thwart his evil plan to conquer the world. Romeo watches them from his base and was furious because they had freed themselves, and he sends many robots to defeat them. But they manage to use their powers to defeat all the robots that Romeo sends them because they are very strong. We need to help them defeat Romeo. Look, I was wandering with my drone and I found this robot. Let's follow it. It's very cute. I think it could help us. Mr. Robot, can you help us find Mr. Romeo's base? Look, the robot is getting angry. But why? I just wanted to befriend this robot. It started throwing glowing balls at us. The drone is managing to dodge them all, but the robot keeps throwing these glowing balls at us. This robot is really mean. But the PJ Masks arrived and they are destroying it. They helped us because otherwise we risked having the drone burned that robot thanks to those magic balls. Look, the PJ Masks completely destroyed the robot and we are free. Let's follow them. They are going to Romeo's new base because they know that nearby there is a much larger new base of Romeo. Look at them, they are following a robot. Maybe they think this robot will take them to Romeo's base, but something is strange. Do you hear these loud bangs? The ground is starting to shake. Something is wrong. I think Romeo is already setting his plan in motion. We need to move. In fact, look, the PJ Masks have started running. I didn't notice. In fact, I lost them. If you have seen them, write it in the comments where they went so we can follow them. The PJ Masks feel the ground shaking and do not understand what is happening. They think it is Romeo's doing, and they are right. Romeo was testing his new giant robots and was taking them out of his lair to bring them to the city and conquer it. The robots began to destroy the surrounding area, and at a certain point a giant evil plane of Romeo also came out of Romeo's lair, generating many giant robots. He starts bringing it into the city and calls the PJ Masks to show them his creations. They are amazed and angry because they want to defeat him. He challenges them to find him in the city and ends the call. The PJ Masks try to find Romeo in the city but fail. Then at a certain point, they are attacked by a giant robot, and a magical battle begins between the PJ Mask and the giant robot. The giant robot withstands the PJ Mask's attacks very well, but at a certain point, the PJ Mask find a way to destroy the robot and they destroy it. Then they start running through the city to find Romeo's other robots and destroy them, and we have to help them before Romeo sets his evil plan in motion. Look, we're in the city and there's the blue PJ Mask running down the street. Where is he going? I think he's going to look for Romeo's secret plane. He's joined the other PJ Masks. All three of them are running through the city. It looks like a scene from a movie. Look, they are running into the city, all three together, and together they will manage to defeat Romeo. Look, they have arrived in the city and have seen from afar Romeo's dark plane wandering through the city. Romeo is positioning it on a long street to make it take off. Look, they followed it and have seen that the plane has reconnected with two giant robots. And look, these giant robots have been activated and want to capture the PJ Masks. The PJ Masks try to stop Romeo's plane from advancing, but Romeo is too strong and manages to capture them with magical nets. He first captures the pink PJ Mask while she was flying, then he captures the green PJ Mask, and finally he captures the blue PJ Mask. Romeo thought he had won and started laughing a lot, but the green PJ Mask took out a crystal ball from his pocket and threw it, breaking it. When the crystal ball breaks, it creates a portal that expands, sucking in Romeo's plane, Romeo's robots, and Romeo himself. Then the portal breaks the magical nets that were holding the PJ Masks prisoners, and they get sucked into the portal, which takes them into the video game. Look, we're in the PJ Masks app to help them. I want to be the dinosaur that I like so much. Do you like dinosaurs? Look, I am Catboy from PJ Masks. I jumped over a lot of barrels. I can't believe it, they are amazing. Look at all the stars. These stars will recharge us to go defeat the giant robot that is around here. Look, I even leveled up. The first mission has been completed and we can move on to the next one. Look, we are at the house of the blue PJ Mask. This blue PJ Mask is a bit strange. Look, now the green PJ Mask has arrived in town and is following the footsteps of the giant robot. Do you see that it's night too? This means the robot has brought darkness to the city. We must keep collecting more and more stars. Look, I've leveled up. Now my friend is at a higher level. Let's try to climb higher. I think if we go up high, we will see the robot. Look, there is a superpower. I unlocked it. Let's use it. Look, I have an epic shield around me. There are so many different superpowers we can unlock. Look, the ground is shaking. The robot is approaching. It's a gigantic robot. We have to defeat it. Look, Gecko has made a huge jump. And in front of him is the giant robot. He is truly fighting it valiantly. Look at what kind of superpowers Gecko is using. He managed to completely defeat the giant robot that is now lying on the ground. And Gecko continues his run because he wants to find Romeo because he thinks he is strong enough to defeat him. He managed to knock out a giant robot, but there's still one in the city. Look, I have the blue PJ Mask car and we're heading to the city with the vehicle. How cool, how awesome. If we collect the blue flyers, it gives us a lot of energy. Look! Ahead of us is another giant robot, and the car is heading straight towards the giant robot. It wants to destroy it. The car managed to destroy the giant robot by jumping on top of it. Did you see? It did some epic stunts like in the rally fields, and it managed to defeat the robot created by Romeo. This means that Romeo must have hidden around here and must have a secret base. That's why he's trying to protect her. Look, I've completed the course. This means we could now do this route in real life. Look, the blue PJ Mask is having a race against Romeo. Romeo is running faster than the blue PJ Mask, but the blue PJ Mask is following him with his super strong car. Look, Romeo disappeared because he was going so fast, but I think the blue PJ Mask will find him at the finish line. We just need to get closer. Look, we are getting closer to the finish line. Caught a very strong star. Look, there's Romeo at the finish line and the blue PJ Mask has gotten out of the car. They are fighting. Look, they're having a magic duel. The blue PJ Mask has cornered Romeo. Romeo has no more superpowers and has been captured by the blue PJ Mask and put inside a magic cage. Now we have to take this path to find the magic portal to get the PJ Masks out of their app and bring them back to real life. And we've reached the end. Look, the car is approaching the finish line, but an epic portal has opened from the finish line and sucked in the PJ Masks' car. It's sucking in all the PJ Masks. This portal, it will bring them to real life. Look, the PJ Masks with their epic powers are destroying Romeo's plane after coming out of the video game portal. Romeo is all angry because they destroyed his evil plan and they are laughing while Romeo's plane explodes, turning into a bubble of fireworks. Look how many he makes. They are beautiful. If you like PJ Masks, subscribe to the channel to see new videos like this one. Look, Romeo is very angry, but he's in the cage and can't get out. And the PJ Masks are going to refuel their plane with magic fuel because they want to restart their journey towards their destination to have fun. They were going on vacation. Look, the airplane has been fully refueled and is about to take off. The PJ Mask placed it along a very long road. And look, the PJ Masks have taken off and the plane is going very far. The PJ Masks have gone on vacation, but Romeo, I think this year won't go on vacation. If you enjoyed this adventure, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Or if you want to experience new adventures, click here to experience it right away.